Hello, everyone. My name is Danny. This review is for the movie called Knives Out. And I do suspect foul play. Hello, everyone. My name is Danny, and Knives Out is a 2019 film. It's rated PG 13. It's directed by Rian Johnson. It stars Daniel Craig, Chris Evans, Anna de Armas, and a bunch of other people. The runtime is 2 hours and 10 minutes. The description: a modern take on the classic detective genre. That's it. No other description. That's it. 8 words as your description. This is Knives Out. So, we have a lot of people in this movie. I'm sorry that they only put 3 on this, but there's a lot of people in this movie, and you know all of them, at least from something. So, I was looking forward to this one, even though we've seen a lot of ads, but they've been pretty good about not spoiling anything in the previews. I think they did pretty well with that. All the twists that this movie had were in the movie, and I didn't see any hint of it in the previews. So, did you feel the same way? I mean, I feel like that they did a pretty good job at that. I can't think of anything they gave away in the previews. Some movies are so bad about that, I'll tell you. But Knives Out was, very much like Clue or blah 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 or blah blah blah. Um, it's a mystery, and I'll just blurt this out first because it's my main point of view, is that they let the rabbit out of the hat a little early. It's just my feeling about the movie. The whole time after they kind of let you know the main point, it felt like they had to eventually explain, if that's all, then how is that all? If there's more to it, then let me know what the more is. And they wait until the end, like a classic detective mystery movie. And it seems like from when the rabbit is out of the hat to the end of the movie, all you're doing is anticipating if it's all or if there's more, and you don't care about what else the movie has to throw at you because you know it's just garbage because you really want to know the answer to this that happens within the first half hour. And this is over a 2 hour movie, so it really gets kind of hard to watch after the main release. And when the main release happens, it feels like enough. It feels like, okay, that's a wrap. Let's call this a movie. Let's say that's it. That's good. In the ending, when you find out, I'm not going to say what it is because that's the only point of watching a movie like this is to go see it once and find out what the heck is going on. I'm not going to tell you what happened at the end, but when it happens, it's kind of like, okay, but you had this half an hour in, and that was more exciting than what you did at the ending. So why couldn't we just leave it here? Or why couldn't you have this scene at the end and then explain it? So I don't know. I kind of feel like a movie like this, you can go one of two ways. You can go in real time and have the events that happen in order happen, like explain them to us, and then just, have an ending and call it a day. Or you can go back and forth and really try and confuse people, and, that can be a good strategy. Sometimes it backfires on people, but it can make things interesting. It can kind of keep people awake and alert. If they're not paying attention, they'll miss a flashback or something. And Knives Out is sort of kind of doing both of those. Like, it's showing you things that are happening in real time, but it's also trying to catch you off guard if you're not paying attention for like 5 minutes. And you run out to the bathroom, you're gonna miss something. So, I kind of wish they would have just taken one approach and run with it, but they didn't. So it gets a little confusing after the main release. I'll just call it that, a half an hour in, and it just kind of gets a little murky. and with the details, with the storyline, with the characters, who's where, who's doing what. Even in the movie Clue, which everybody I hope has watched in their lifetime because you should. Even in Clue, like you can sense what's next. You have a feeling of what's going on and how it makes sense in your brain. With Knives Out, you have that feeling, but you also are really confused on why they're taking the approach they are to get to the point that you know it's getting to. So, I don't know, like they're really trying hard to impress you with this movie because it's higher society class of people that we're dealing with. They're not the smartest, they're not the most charismatic. These actors are playing these characters that are not charismatic, and all these actors are really good. So it's just kind of like hard to watch them dumb down themselves to play these characters. And Daniel Craig is really the only one that really gets to stand out because he's the detective and he gets to be, figuring it out, Watson, and, all kinds of stuff. And then our kind of main person, a female, she's just a normal old gal and she doesn't get to do anything. She doesn't have any personality whatsoever. So I don't know. It's a weird movie. And, the one I really like to compare this to is the movie called Game Night. I think it was out last year. And if you watch my review of it, I totally love that movie because it has the comedy with the mystery, with the twists, twist after twist of things you didn't see coming. And it actually, brings and carries those, twists through. It doesn't just say, oh, here's a twist, just have a twist. And I kind of feel like that's what Knives Out is doing. They're like, okay, we're going to throw this at you, and we're going to throw this at you. We know you knew it was coming, but we're still going to do it. And, I don't know. I just was a little underwhelmed when it got to the ending. What happens at the ending, I felt like they could have made it more exciting. They could have made it more brutal. They could have done something more interesting. So, that said, I did not see the ending coming with what happened on a couple things here and there, but the details felt rushed. I felt like Daniel Craig had to come out of his character and be more strategic, more inquisitive than he was throughout the whole movie. Because a couple times it just felt like he had no idea what he was doing, and the cops knew more what they were doing. So it was really back and forth. Lots of notes about this movie, just a lot of little things that didn't feel right. I will say that it's an interesting movie because the whole time you are having one goal to figure out what the heck is going on. If you figure it out in the first half hour, great. If you figure it out in 2 hours, great. If you don't and you walk out of the movie talking about it, great. This movie is achieving what it wants to achieve. There's going to be many different people with many different strategies about how they feel about this movie and when they figured it out or if they did or not. So, any movie that achieves what it wants to is a good movie. Any movie that has great acting in it, it's a good movie. I appreciate this movie. I, would sit through it again to try and feel differently about it from when I sat in the theater. But most of my theater was very alert, very into this movie. It had its funny moments, sort of. It depends on your comedy. And it has a lot of what you would want in a movie. And then it answers a lot of questions, kind of like an Ocean's movie. So, I think it's fine. I don't think there's much wrong with it. I just think it's a weird feeling, a weird movie, has some weird elements, and for that I'm going to give it a B. So, thank you guys. A B for Knives Out. My name is Danny. If you like this or any of my other videos, try and give some of them a watch. Like and subscribe to my channel if you would. And thank you so much for watching. Enjoy your movies.